Hi, I'm Jodie, a relationship and sex therapist based in Southern California, and today we are continuing the Love Island reaction series with Season 8, Episode 25. We just left off in our last episode where this is the second time now that Kenzie has pulled a guy off because she's usually seeing two kind of at the same time and they ended up making out. So we kind of just left off on that, as well as we had Casey and Naya having their kind of conversation. Casey was feeling pretty down after the conversation, after hearing some of the things that were hurtful to Anaya and really kind of getting to process it a little bit. I still don't think he's fully getting it, but he seemed like he's kind of getting it. TT was, able to offer him comfort, and it was nice, and it just gives you some hope that maybe he's really having some insight into what happened. Afterwards, we also saw Anaya and Carl having a chat, which led to a hard makeout, which we're all like really cheering for them. So super happy about that. I would love to see kind of where things could go with them. And then we had Kenzie and Dylan have a talk. One thing that I can respect about Kenzie is usually pretty honest. Besides for like the last time that she did this where her and Corbin were like, oh, we're not gonna tell anybody. I'm like, girl, come on. But for the most part, she's been pretty honest. And so she did end up making out with Gaul, and she was honest with Dylan about it and said that it made her realize her feelings for Dylan. But again, it kind of feels like this is just like the Kenzie game, sadly, of like, it's just kind of empty words unless it actually leads to a change in behavior. But she's really good at saying the right thing. She's very affectionate. She's very cuddly and says really nice, sweet nothings and things like that. But then it's like, she'll go do it with somebody else. Dylan was really upset. He was crying, he needed some time. Other islanders could tell that he was upset, were offering him comfort. He's really hurting. He's really invested in Kenzie, and so to hear that she did that with Gaul was devastating for him. However, fast forward to nighttime, they go to bed, and definitely they were doing shit in bed, for sure. Don't know exactly what, but they were doing stuff in bed. This can feel really confusing, but to be honest, from my experience, actually, this is very common. The main reason why this stuff happens is because if you ever work with me, I love kind of what I'm talking about is attachment things, especially I'm a very visual learner. I love kind of using my fingers for like attachment stuff. So like, let's say we disclose the kiss. What's gonna happen, right? If this is the amount of distance between two people, we're going to start moving away. Understandably, we're hurt. When this happens, our nervous system is going to say, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And there's going to be a drive to come back together. In this case, sexy time or some kind of physical affection or whatever the fuck they were doing in bed. This is also why breakups are hard. We're breaking up, we're moving apart, There's tension here, and everything in us is going to try to pull us back. Right? And you're trying to pull away, and it's going to try to pull you back. And this is why when people go through breakups, right, you're going to be like, like this. So these are known facts of what happens. Some people are able to do full clean cuts. Sure, that's not always healthy, but it makes everything kind of make sense on why this would happen. When you're like, wait a second, this feels like a yo-yo. You were just crying because of this person. Now you're kind of sleeping with them, and now you're... These are really common dynamics that'll happen because our nervous system got dysregulated, and we said, no, I need to feel close to this person. Oh, I hurt them. I feel really bad. I gotta get close to them again. Or like, oh, I'm really hurt by this person, but they want to show me affection, and now I'm gonna seek that out, and then they're gonna show it to me. So yeah, I wasn't really surprised by that. It's just our attachment shit clearly panning out. So then we had Gaul and Carl had a talk. Gaul did disclose that he was thinking about exploring more. So sure, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, he's still on the island. He already cut things off with Jen. Like, he's got kind of like this weird thing kind of going on with Kenzie. And so we're gonna kind of see what happens. We're gonna see where this goes. Jen and Kata had a talk. We've kind of had this kind of dynamic happen before, but Jen was kind of annoyed with Kenzie, and I definitely understand why. Kenzie is close with the girls, but she pretty consistently kind of violates girl code. Basically, what it kind of feels like is Kenzie wants to do what Kenzie wants to do. And again, we don't want the opposite of that, people pleasing, to be the case either. But there is like this sweet spot in the middle where like I can consider other people and not abandon my own needs. But this is kind of something that's happening here where Kenzie's like, well, I want to talk to Dylan. Well, I also want to talk to Gaul. Well, I know that you're seeing Gaul, but I also want to talk to Gaul. And it's like, okay, we get it, but if you're not going to go anywhere, you're just kind of hoarding all the resources here. Naturally, Jen gets us upset by this because not only did Gaul just call things off with Jen, but then Jen's like, you didn't even tell me. She had to hear it from somebody else that Kenzie and Gall had just made out the night before. She's, of course, just upset that, one, you didn't tell me, and why do you always have to seem to have two people? Like, why do you get to call two people? And again, not that Kenzie's ever said, oh, these other guys can't see other people, but she's taking up a lot of space, and it just makes things more complicated for other people that are trying to build relationships with these people. And so it's not, yes and. So again, that was Jen and Kata talking, and then Jen did end up actually talking to Kenzie. It was a little heated. Jen ended up saying, like, hey, I wouldn't be friends with you outside of here. Like, I'm best friends with you in here, but like, based on the way that you behave, I wouldn't be friends with you outside of here, which I really think is something that Kenzie needs to hear. Are you being respectful of your friends? This is a component that's going to have real consequences, right? If like you're going to keep going after a guy that I'm interested in, that I've been coupled up with, and you're not going to tell me about it, that you're going to be making out with him and all these other things, even if that's not working out for them, like, it's still just kind of, girl code to at least talk to the person, see how it's feeling. Like, is it something that you're willing to risk your relationship with this person to explore something? Kenzie really couldn't, she kind of was trying to hear it, but Kenzie naturally just gets a little bit like defensive when these things come up. I don't think she's really good at having that insight or being able to get that feedback without like defending herself. I think she was kind of getting a little bit, but she definitely was kind of hurt by it. I'm hoping that it kind of clicks for Kenzie, but I'm not going to be surprised if it doesn't. I think that there's a lot of like learning lessons for her in this experience. But yeah, Kenzie was kind of starting to lock in on Dylan during this episode, which I hope that she does. I really hope there's something that can be grown there. That would be really nice. Gall and Amora chatted. Sure, maybe something, I don't know, who knows. And then we had the announcement of movie night. They kind of gave some information about that. Movie night takes up a couple episodes. It was pretty much a disaster. Kata ended up finding out that Alana, who was kind of like matched up kind of with Zach, ended up leaving. Zach had not told her this information. And so, of course, as we've been talking about, that Kata tends to be kind of overthinking quite a bit right now, but also valid concerns, was that, well, one, why didn't you tell me? And wait a second, are you only choosing me because she wasn't there and so that you're not single? Or like, did you actually have a connection with this girl? And I understand where she's coming from, because it's not different to go, I didn't choose you, to I didn't have a choice to choose you. And so she was kind of spinning out a little bit around this. They had showing of Casey and TT/Sydney, which we all know how that went. Definitely showed the extent of how involved and kind of exploring Casey was, and did show a little bit of Anaya and Carl, but that was like a short snippet. It was bad. It was definitely not good. Anaya definitely got upset by what happened. Again, there was multiple videos, but there's like, it gets heated. Emotions are flying everywhere. We were kind of not surprised that all this kind of happened. Yeah, it just was a hot mess. And then we had Sincere and Soul. Melanie was really trying to hold it together. She actually wasn't responding. She was more kind of glossed over, if anything. She was really trying to hold it together. It was really difficult though. And we already know, okay, we're seeing Sincere and Soul. We didn't even get to Casa yet. That was like stuff that was happening while Sincere was still in the villa. So we already know that's going to be juicy, and that we're going to have multiple videos of Sincere if that's all that was included in that one. Because originally there was 10 movies clips, and so they were just playing a game, like a flip a coin thing, to see who got chose. I don't know why. There was like a point in time where like the guys were like, oh, all girls got it again. All girls got it again. I don't know why it matters. You're all picking from a 0 to 10. Why does it matter? You can't even tell. They're all numbered. You don't know which one's which. So why does it matter who's win the coin toss? I don't know. That was a little strange to me, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so it's starting to get juicy and is going to continue on the next episode, so I'll see you there.